Hello, welcome back. All right, we're doing Maths B, Maths Quiz 2012 Maths B, Chapter 8 AD, question 3, 4, and 5. Now, the reason why I do 3, 4, and 5 together is because they're all multiple choice. I thought, might not do them, might as well just do them all together. All right, question 3. Which one of the following does not equal the shaded area? All right, this one's a bit tricky. It says does not. All right, so we're supposed to find the wrong one. So there should be 4 correct one and 1 wrong one. All right, so let's look at our function. So let's just decide which one is the correct function first. All right, so finding the area, we need to do the we need to do definite integral. Definite integral. All right. It's from the distance from 1 to 5, right? So it's from 1 to 5. And it's always top minus the bottom. All right, top minus bottom. And then integrate with respect to x. Okay, so which one's the top? This one's the top, right? This look like the g of x, all right? So g of x, top. All right, bottom one is the f of x. All right, so it becomes top is g of x minus f of x dx. So this should be the correct expression for the shaded area. All right, so let's look at it. Let's look at our choices. So option A. Now option A is just what I usually do, right? I usually distribute the integral sign into the two part of the equation. So this can also be written as root 1/5 gx dx integrate with respect to x minus root 1 integrate 1/5 f of x dx. All right, so we are simply just distributing the integral sign into addition. So I'm treating this as a bracket. All right, so you distribute it into each of the terms. So that's literally A. That's what we got in option A, right? So that's the correct one. So that's the correct expression for the function, which is not the answer we want for this question. Okay, that's a bit confusing. All right, not A. All right, let's go B. Now, the difference between A and B is the positive here. All right, and for those who noticed also, the 5 and 1 is different here. So now this requires you to understand a little bit about integral expression. So if something is positive, integrate between from A to B, all right? So let's say from A to B, all right? It is positive. You can literally change it to negative, and once you change to negative, you flip the A and B. So the A goes on the top and B goes on the bottom, and they are equal. All right, so let's have a look. So the operation here changed from a negative to a positive. Changed from a negative to a positive, and then the domain also changed from 1 to 5 to 5 to 1. So it satisfied this particular format. So this is also the correct one. All right, so this is also, B is also the correct expression. So not the answer in this case. All right, let's go C. Now C is literally changing the operation. All right, so negative, remember our correct expression, if you look at the option A, the f of x is a negative, right? Integrating from 1 to 5 is a negative. So it changed to a positive. But the domain did not flip. All right, the domain did not flip. Same as the g of x, from a positive, because this is a positive, from a positive, it changed to a negative, and the domain did not flip. So this one's very suspicious. All right, this could be there's got a big chance it could be this one. It's the wrong expression. All right, let's look at D. Now the expression of D is literally just that. Right, it's literally just that. So there's no way this is wrong. All right, so not D. And E. All right, the expression of E is a complete flip. It's a complete flip. So it flipped it 1 and 5, and it changed all the operation of f of x and negative g and g of x. So from positive g of x, hold on, so let me draw. From a positive g of x, it changed to a negative g of x, and from a negative f of x, it changed to a positive f of x, and the domain also flipped as well. So this is the correct expression. All right, this is the correct expression. So this is also correct. So leaving C is our only answer. So C is the wrong expression for this shaded area. Okay, because they flipped the operation of the f of x and g of x, but it did not flip the domain. All right, so that's question 3. Okay, that's question 3. All right, let's go into question 4. All right, question 4. The area bounded by the curve f of x and g of x and the line x equal to negative 1 is equal to, all right, so this one we're looking for is equal to, so the correct expression, I would suppose. So let's see. So it's looking from negative 3 to negative 1. And which one's our top function? The top function looks like it's f of x. All right. And the bottom function looks like will be g of x. All right, so let's write down the correct expression. So the correct expression is from negative 3 to negative 1. And then it's top minus bottom. Alright, bottom, and then integrate with respect to x. Alright, so remember our bottom is g of x, so it's negative from negative 3 to negative 1. F of x minus g of x dx. So that is the correct expression for that particular shaded area. Alright, let's look at each one of them. So let's look at A. So the f of x minus g of x, this bit is the correct one, but pay attention to the domain. They're wrong. It's not from negative 1 to negative 3. It's from negative 3 to negative 1. It's always from the smallness. The smallness is always at the bottom. The smaller x value is always at the bottom, and the bigger x value is always at the top. Well, when you do it, properly, when you go with my function, with my method, top minus bottom, the smallest x value always goes on the bottom. All right, so this is the wrong one. Okay, let's go B. All right, oh, got the correct domain, very good. And FG, oh, so inside here is a plus instead of a minus. That's not right. All right, because it's always top minus the bottom. Okay, let's go C. All right, so got the correct domain, very good. So the domain is correct. G of x minus f of x. That's not very right, because it's g of x is supposed to be negative and f of x is supposed to be positive. So that's also wrong. So that's also wrong. Let's go D. All right, negative 3 to negative 1. All right, so the domain is correct. Let's look at the inside. F of x minus g of x. Okay, that's also correct. So there's a very high possibility that this could be the answer. All right, last one, option E. All right, so they flipped it, the domain. Okay, let's see, did they flip the inside? So inside is f of g. F of x is still positive, but they flipped the g of x to a positive. All right, but the f of x is not right. So this bit is, if you flip the domain, the f of x should be a negative, because in the original equation it is positive, right? So so if you write the flipped function, the flipped one would be -1 to -3, and then which would be negative f of x plus g of x, and then integrate with respect to x. So that would be the correct expression, whereas this one is not. Boop boop. So not E as well. So the correct answer will be D. All right. This is fairly straightforward. Okay, let's go into question 5. All right, question 5. The shaded area at right is equal to, okay, so looking for equal is equal to, that means we're looking for the correct form, the correct expression. All right, so looking at this, oh, this one is a bit tricky. It's got two particular sections, section 1 and section 2. All right, okay, let's talk about section 1. The section 1, let's look at so the domains from in section 1 is from what do you call it, 0, right, to 3. All right, so that's our domain in section 1. And which one's the top function? I believe following the trace. All right, this is following this. So that's g f of x. So the top one would be f of x, whereas the bottom one is g of x. But that is only for section 1. All right, so this is a tricky bit. It's only for section 1. All right, for section 2, all right, which one's on the top? For section 2, g of x is at the top, and f of x is at the bottom. All right, so there's two particular section here. All right, let's go to section 1 first. So it should be from 0 to 3, and top minus bottom. With integrate with respect to x. Then we plus, right? We want to plus another area, which would be from 3 to 4, right? And then it's always top minus bottom, so it would be so top minus bottom again. So and then integrate with respect to x. All right, let's go. So the first one would be 0, 3. So top. So on the first one, the bottom function is g of x. First, so it would be f of x minus g of x. Integrate with respect to x. Pluses. Second section would be g of x minus f of x, and then integrate with respect to x. All right, so that should be the correct expression. All right, let's look at the first one. All right, the first one go from 0 to 4. G of x, f of x minus g of x. All right, from 0 to 4. All right, this is always not going to be right. This is always, especially when the two function intertwine like this. You know, one goes down and then the other goes up. So that bit is already wrong. When two functions intertwine like that, you always have to make it into two particular sections, because you know, at one section of the area, one of the function is on the top, but then at the other section of the area, the function is at the bottom. That particular function is at bottom. So you can't do it at one go. So no. No. All right, next one. All right, so from 0 to 3, it looks all right. So g of x minus f of x. Oh, this one. So g of x minus, but the domain is right. Okay, the first section, the domain is right. But then in the first section, the top function is f of x, so it can't be a negative. And the bottom function is g of x, right? So that is not right. Let's look at the next bit. So okay, the next bit, the domain is right, and then okay, that bit is wrong as well. So it's completely wrong. Boop boop. All right, C. All right, so C, the domain is already wrong. You can't just do one integrate and find out two sections of areas. No. And let's go to this one. So 0 to 3. Okay, so the first section's equation is right, the domain is right, but what about the next section? What about section 2? Nothing. So that's wrong. Leaving us E. Alright, let's go E. The domain is right, the equation is right, and then the domain is right, and then the equation is right. Very good. So that's E. That's our answer there. Alright, so that's not that hard. Alright, hopefully you guys can see what I did. And okay, that's 15 minutes. Alright, let's head into a commercial break and we come back with question 6.